celebrating our connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio. Here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And your dream team, Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Dog trainer Alan Cable, helping you figure out your dog. Dog father Joey Villani and animal communicator Joy Turner. A big show for you today. Stanley Coren will be joining us. He'll answer questions like, do dogs dream? Can they see themselves in mirrors? What colors can they see? Do they have better hearing than we do? All these questions that we've all, at one time or another, asked ourselves about our cats or dogs. And he'll be talking about the dogs, especially. DEVO will be joining us on the show today. Yeah, the rock group, punk rock, new wave group DEVO, they're still around. And they have a brand new song called Don't Roof Rack Me Bro, talking about Romney's dog. And that's on the way. Also, the editors of Wired Magazine talking about Rabies in their brand new book, Rabid. I'm sorry, not the editors. One editor, one veterinarian.
There you
right?
go. It's a husband and wife.
Always correcting me. And you can get in touch with us the usual ways. 1-866-405-8405 or your voice at animalradio.com. Even on Facebook at Animal Radio, or tweet us your questions at Animal Radio. Even ask your questions on the iPhone and Android app for Animal Radio. If you haven't downloaded that yet, please do. And in fact, we got a lot of response from last week's comments about, well, Dr. Debbie was telling us how to identify which cat is pooping out of the box, and you suggested crayons. Using crayon shavings, which go through the system, and they're non-toxic, and you can identify which cat, especially if you have a multiple cat household, which is the only reason you do that, I assume.
Yes, there's no reason to do it at any other time.
Oh, it might be just fun.
For tips, for color decoration.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of response via email about that. I was unaware that so many people were interested in, figuring out which cat pooped.
The next kind of level from there is so many people deal with inappropriate urination in multi-cat households. And before, as a veterinarian, I can help anyone, we got to know who's doing the deed. Mm-hmm. So that's a very challenging thing. So there are some kind of basic ways that we can deal with this and to try to figure it out. Now, there's one kind of approach called the fluorescein test. And it's basically using a type of fluorescent dye that we use when we're doing types of eye exams. And we take the component of this test and we put it in gel caps. And then you can pill your cat, if you can pill your cat. You give this to them, and then it does this cool thing. It turns the urine a very intense staining color. And we look at that with a black light. And it will kind of jump out as a very bright color compared to other urine.
Well, I know that trying to find urine around the house, you use a black light without putting any pills in there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The stink finder, we call it. But yeah, so it will still pick up. So before you do this, you want to check to make sure where all the urine spots are in the house. And you might get a little disgusted. I don't recommend taking one of those to, a hotel room to look at that. But, so you want to know where your cat's been going, but then you look for the especially bright one. And it usually works. Sometimes it doesn't, depending on the cat's pH. But within 2 hours up to a day, we can pick up this color. And then you can always switch 3 days later to the next cat if you haven't detected the offender. Huh. So
I wonder why a cat would be peeing in a hotel room, though. I don't
get that part.
Sorry. We won't go there. Hey, but the thing we got to talk about with this is this stuff stains. So it's got to be something that you're willing to take the loss on the furniture or the carpet. It will stain. But a nice alternative, you can always set up a camera. The good old camera test is a great way to catch the offender. You just got to spend that time watching the video of cats peeing. That's about the worst.
Well, one of the reasons they don't use the litter is sometimes because it's just too dirty. They want a clean place to go all the time.
Yeah, just like you do. You don't want to go in a dirty bathroom.
And that's why I'm so high on the Scoop Free Ultra litter, which is an automatic litter. And in fact, I think we should kick off this hour by giving away one.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Because Judy said so.
I said so.
The Scoop Free Ultra with a 3-pack premium blue litter. This is one of those self-cleaning litter boxes that you can leave alone for weeks at a time. It is the only self-cleaning litter box that uses disposable litter trays. So you won't have to deal with that litter at all. You just pull the tray out, dump it right into the trash.
Yeah, the whole tray, and then you just pop in a new tray.
Gotta love that. Plus it has a privacy hood so that they have their privacy. Learn more over at scoopfree.com. They have a 90-day money-back guarantee and a 1-year limited product warranty. So there's really no reason to not try that now. And we could use one around this place.
celebrating our connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio. Here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And your dream team, Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Dog trainer Alan Cable answering those most vexing dog issues. Dog father Joey Villani. He'll tell you how to groom your pets and groom yourself while you're at it. I mean, look at yourself in the mirror. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? Yeah.
Was that supposed to be like a New Jersey accent?
That was my New Jersey accent.
That was
really
rough.
bad.
Yeah, that was bad.
And animal communicator Joey Turner, we're all here at your beck and call, toll free, 1-866-405-8405. On the big show today, DEVO is joining us. At least founding member Gerald Casale for the season of Stars. What the hell is
Didn't even know they were still around.
They're still around.
I can still see the videos.
Oh, sure.
That was like the height of the MTV video days when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And the song about the Greyhound, Whip It. Ooh, that was like that was like a theme song for us.
Sing it, Hal.
Oh, that was about a whip it.
Whip
huh?
it good,
Okay.
whip it good.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that.
I did not know that.
Stacy, what are you working on?
Wow, some Boy Scouts had a really scary adventure when they were out and about by the Delaware River. A beaver attacked their scout leader. I'll tell you all about that coming up. A rabid beaver. Coming up on Animal Radio News.
I never liked the Boy Scouts.
What about Judy?
I never did. I grew up in the city. I always thought Boy Scouts like little wimpy kids.
I'm just looking
that's
at
what
you.
we thought.
Be nice,
That's
Hal.
right.
No beaver jokes?
No beaver jokes.
Okay. Stanley Coren will also be joining us today and answering questions like, do dogs dream? Can they see themselves in the mirror? What can they see on TV? That's all on the way in just a couple of minutes right here on Animal Radio. Also, the Wired editors from Wired Magazine.
No, one is the editor.
One's a veterinarian.
One's a veterinarian.
Okay, one of the editors, managing editor, senior editor?
Senior
Top
editor.
dog over there at Wired will be joining us talking about rabies.
Big guy.
What do you got on the agenda today there, Joey?
I'm going to tell you how to de-shed your kitty without getting bit. How's that?
I'm looking forward to that. Would I require gauntlets for that? How would that work? A little shot of vodka?
You gotta just hang out and listen. Okay, everyone has to be very patient.
Okay, that's on the way right here on Animal Radio. Let's hit the phones. What do you say? Hey, Jeff, how are you doing?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Good. What's going on in your world?
Well, I've got these two dogs that are from the same breed, same litter, and I'm trying to take them out on walks, and I'm trying to take one out, leaving the other one kind of watching the house, if you will. And when we tend to do that, the dog that's not getting walked is out of control, howling, crying. It's a nuisance. Is Alan there?
I'm here, Jeff. I'm here for you, buddy. Now, you take the one dog out and everything is cool, and you leave the other dog in the house, and the dog howls and goes nutty?
He does. And it's not even if he's in the house. I may even have him in the backyard while I walk the other dog. I mean, I get it. He's jealous that he's not getting walked while the other one is. But it's like out of control noise, if you know what I mean.
All right, buddy, he's not jealous, okay? Dogs don't get jealous. The problem is the pack is leaving, and you're leaving him behind, and he thinks he's in charge, and he's like, well, you guys aren't allowed to go. I didn't give you permission to go. So that's why he's howling. And to eliminate the problem, firstly, you got to be the pack leader. You got to be in charge, Jeff. Are you in charge? Are you a man or a mouse, Jeff?
Hey now.
Come on, Jeff. Jeff, where's your... Let me talk to your wife. I want to find out who's in charge in that house. Jeff, you've got to walk them together, one on your left, one on your right. You've got to keep them right at your side. You cannot let them walk in front of you. And above all, you've got to have a choker chain on so you can give corrections. And a correction is given with a quick flick of the wrist. It's just a quick flick of the wrist and no talking, Jeff. And you walk them together every single day for at least 15, 20 minutes, at least one time a day. You enter the house first. You don't let them go first. You control the food. You do all these little things to let them know you're in charge. And once your dog sees that you're in charge, that you're a strong, confident, compact leader, the barking and the howling will stop because you'll just look at him and go, hey, quiet. Now, if he doesn't listen to you, you have to have a punishment place, like a dark room or even his kennel. I mean, because you're always happy to see your dog when he comes out of the kennel. So you put him in that place to let him know that the behavior is not, you don't like it. And when he's doing what you do want, that's when you go, good dog. But you got to walk them together, and you got to be the pack leader, Jeff. Can you do that?
I can work on that.
Work on that, buddy. And be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to be patient. But the less words, the better. Don't talk so much. Use your body. Be calm, stand straight, confident.
Awesome. Thanks for that advice.
I think you would have been talking to my wife, because she does that to me. Because when my neighbor across the street, when she comes out of her house, I howl, and she puts me on a choker chain. And so if you've been talking to my wife, we're gonna have a problem here, Cable. Let me tell you.
I think Joey, I pictured you on a choker chain, Joey. Why did I know that?
There you go. Thanks for your call, Jeff. 1-866-405-8405 to connect with our dream team. Animal Radio is brought to you by Kitty A Go-Go, bringing you 6 attractive litter box options in colorful designs from leopard prints to polka dots, especially suited for smaller homes or apartments where traditional litter boxes are an eyesore. And let's face it, they're always an eyesore.
So what you tell me is my cat can poop in style now.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Kitty A Go-Go will add a stylish decor element for you and your cat. It's available at kittyagogo.com. That's kittyagogo.com.
Vinny Penn coming at you with another party animal installment. That's right. Despite all your emailing, I have not been canceled. Okay, that's a joke. Nobody's been emailing about getting me canceled or kicked off the air. I had an interesting drunken fight the other night, believe it or not. A girl I went to grammar school with. I've known since 6th grade. Now our kids are in the same class together. And we were talking about what fans we were of Benji. When we were young, back in the 70s, the Benji movies. You all must remember that. And her husband, who up until this point seemed like a pretty good guy, all of a sudden turned it into a Rolling Stones versus the Beatles thing and started it was Lassie this and Lassie that. And it was like, bro, I actually stood up, bro, whoa, we're talking about Benji here. No reason to bring up that corny collie. Next thing you know, it was Benji versus Lassie. How Lassie always knew how to communicate and get Timmy. Why was Timmy always in trouble? Why was he always falling down wells and letting tree branches land on top? Maybe Timmy needed, Timmy was just, he was a little too needy. Benji got invited. He stopped bank robberies. I mean, Benji kind of ran on his own. He was a lone dog. Yes, it was a pathetic night, actually. It really was. Kind of embarrassing that we could get into a Benji versus Lassie argument. Maybe you'd like to chime in. Drop me a line, Vinny@animalradio.com. I say I won that argument. I'm going to double check with Maria, see if her husband's still pissed. He looked like he was going to punch me at one point. Vinny Pet, party animal, Animal Radio.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. Wondering if your dog or cat is stressed out? A Japanese company has developed a patch that purports to measure the stress levels of dogs and cats by detecting excessive sweat secretion. The patch is applied to the center pad of the animal's paw and changes color depending on how sweaty the pet is. The company, which makes a similar patch for humans, says it worked with researchers at Toyama University to study the sweat patterns of dogs and cats, which secrete sweat from their paws. Is it just me, or does this sound a lot like a mood ring? I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
Cat owners, listen up. We love our cats. They're so adorable, but we certainly can't say the same for their litter boxes. Wouldn't it be great if you had an attractive litter box with a stylish hood and designs like black patent, leopard print, polka dot? Well, now you can. Kitty A Go-Go is perfect for smaller homes or apartments where the litter box is usually an eyesore. Not only does Kitty A Go-Go look great, it adds a stylish decor element with personality. Your choice of 6 decorative hoods and colorful patterns will look great in any room. Seeing is believing. And since you can't can't see them on the radio, check out all the designs at kittyagogo.com. And that's not all. Kitty A Go-Go has a patented sifter rake, so there's no digging for treasures. In one single scoop of the rake, your cat's business is ready to dump right into the trash, making the task of cleaning up after your kitty a breeze. Made of the highest quality, durable, and stain-resistant plastic, both you and your cat will love this new concept in litter boxes. Kitty A Go-Go. You have to see it to believe it. Learn more at kittyagogo.com.
What dog food is specifically designed to reduce the risk of cancer, settle digestive upsets, reduce scratching and shedding? Canine Caviar. What dog food reduces red tear stains and hot spots? Canine Caviar. What dog food has probiotics that reduce the chance of soft stools and have a higher calorie count for better nutrient absorption? Canine Caviar. So what are you feeding your dog? If you didn't answer Canine Caviar, visit caninecaviar.com today and get your pet started on a longer, healthier life.
Help prevent pests on your pet with monthly topical flea or tick treatments. Advantage 2 for cats or dogs kills through contact, so fleas don't have to bite to die. Canine Advantix 2, which is for dogs only, repels and kills ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes, repels biting flies, and kills lice. Advantage 2 and Canine Advantix 2 kill all flea life stages, including eggs and larvae. Advantage 2 and Canine Advantix 2 are recommended by veterinarians and are available at animal hospitals and pet specialty retailers.
Hey everybody, this is Brett Michaels, and I just want to say, you, right now, want to take, wait, give me the line again, my brain skipped.
Brett Michaels.
I just had one of my brain hemorrhage brain farts.
Oh, don't do that, don't do that.
More
I don't want to be responsible for that.
Trust me, it's me. Go ahead.
Animal Radio, Brett Michaels, Animal Radio.
You got it. I knew the Animal Radio, like, okay, here we go. Hey, this is Brett Michaels. You're listening to Animal Radio, and take care of your pets. They will rock your world.
Animal Radio is brought to you by...
Help prevent pests on your pet with monthly topical flea or tick treatments. Advantage 2 for cats or dogs. Kills through contact, so fleas don't have to bite to die. Canine Advantix 2, which is for dogs only, repels and kills ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes. Repels biting flies and kills lice.
This is
Animal Radio.
If you're a flashback from the 80s like I am, DEVO will be joining us in just a few minutes. You say, why DEVO on Animal Radio? Well, they have written a song about a dog. A special dog.
Not just any dog.
Not just any dog.
So they're still around, huh?
They are still around. In fact, they have a brand new album, a new song, and we'll be playing that in just a few minutes. Also, the editors of Wired Magazine will be joining us. This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Veterinarian One-Step Wound and Skincare Products for hot spots, cuts, scratches, and even rashes. Veterinarian is non-toxic, and it's safe for puppies and kittens. For more information, check them out at veterinarian.com. That's VETERICYN.com. And we go to the phones. We have Yusuf. Hey, Yusuf, what's going on?
Oh, hello. Hi, Hal.
What's going on in your world?
Well, we just got a new little German Shepherd.
Oh, congrats.
We adopted him from the pound. Well, it's a little difficult because he's chewing everything. We named him Titan, which I thought was kind of a cool name for a guy like that. He's almost 2, but he's chewing on everything. Paper. He's chewed my cell phone. Tried. But yeah, so
I'm sorry.
It's also a little bit clumsy when we have guests because he will take articles of their clothing and abscond with them into the backyard and chew them, have them chewed up, and then it's hard for us to explain what's going on with
Isn't that cute? Isn't it cute? Don't you just love it? No, the dog is taking over your life, buddy.
Yeah. We love them and we're ready to give them our lives. That's
all right. Now,
really.
Okay. Now, if you really want to love a dog and give him your life, you got to put this down on a pad. For a dog to be happy, love is like 4th on the list. The first thing he needs is structure, and structure is something you have to teach him. Put a short leash on him with a choker chain. You have to be prepared to follow him around every single time he puts something in his mouth you don't want him to chew. You take that leash and you give him a correction and say a stern no. no. And then you put something in his mouth that he is allowed to chew. When you can't watch him, when you can't be there, you've got to put him in his crate. You've got to put him in his kennel. This way he can't get into trouble. And he's always happy to go in his kennel because dogs like small spaces, and they also like when you let him out, you're happy to see him. So, Jeff, you've got to be a strong, confident pack leader. No guilt involved. It's all business. Dogs don't communicate like people do. Dogs communicate like dogs. And you have to act like a dog, buddy. You have to communicate with your dog the way your dog understands communication. You have to be strong, confident, in charge. And you've got to give your dog stern corrections when he's doing something, when he's doing it, not after. Once you start doing that, you're going to notice a change in your dog's behavior. So give him a correction with the leash and stick something in his mouth that he's allowed to have, one of his toys. And it's going to take a while. Okay, buddy? You got to, and it's going to take time. Be persistent and don't give up and just be calm.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your call today.
You know what works too? Put a habanero in the crotch of the underwear that he steals, and they'll stop. But just, especially the women, make sure you take the habanero out before you put the underwear back on, because, you know.
I might try that tip with my husband.
There
your husband steals your underwear?
1-866
and buries them in the yard.
405-8405. Toll free to Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, or animal communicator Joey Turner. And I want to thank the folks over at Lubricant for making this portion of Animal Radio possible. Come on, don't let your pets suffer with joint discomfort. End their discomfort with Lubricant. It tastes great, yum yum, and animals love it. Visit them at www.lubricant.com. That's LUBRISYN.com. And get 25% off your first order with the code Animal Radio. And we go to Joanne. Hey, Joanne, how are you doing?
Oh, hey, I'm doing fine.
Sorry to keep you on hold for so long. Phones are they're burning white hot over here, but you're up. What's going on?
Well, you know, we've got a great cat, and we're trying to train her on a leash, and we're wondering if you have any tips that you can share with us.
Okay, sure. Well, I gotta commend you. That's for some kitties, that's a big undertaking. For others, especially those that are really food motivated, you know, it's not all that difficult. So tell me about your kitty. Is there a particular breed she is? How does she normally respond if you ask her to do things for you, or you try to make her do something?
She already comes. She only gets treats. I've had cats before, and I've always had them come by rattling a can with treats in it, and she only gets her treat, you know, if she comes to the can. She's food motivated, I suppose. She's a long-haired. She's all black. Never had a pretty cat like that. And she loves to go outside, and she's an outside-inside cat. She's timid.
Okay.
She's a scaredy cat.
Scaredy cat in what way?
Noises. You know, she's afraid of the cars and trucks. She's afraid of dogs. You know, she'll hide and hunker and run in.
Okay.
That type. Very cautious.
Because all of those things that you're saying, Joanne, are going to kind of play into whether or not she's going to be a good candidate to do this, and if we're going to expect her to really take to it and enjoy it. Now, for a kitty that's fearful of sounds, cars, dogs, you know, I'll have to say for leash training for outside, that may not be the most enjoyable experience for her. Mm-hmm. And you really have to kind of look at what she wants to do, and if she doesn't want to do it, it's going to be harder to convince her to do that. So if it's something like walking around the backyard, if you've got a nice long property, something like that, this might be a reasonable thing to try to see how she does without all those distractions and all those other things that can kind of freak her out. But yes, you can definitely work towards training her. The first step with kitties, if you do want to leash train them, is to really get them accustomed to the fit of a harness, and that's the most important thing. You can use a collar, however, for cats, since they can sneak out, get frightened, and slip the collar, I really think the only way you should do this is to do it with a body harness. So you want to make sure you get her well fit. So if you're not comfortable with that, see someone at a pet store just to kind of help you with that, so that she can't get her little arm out or slide out.
Yeah, I did buy her a harness. I'm on Kodiak Island, and we really don't have a pet store, but I've gotten her associated to her harness. she lets me put it on. It's not a problem at all. And then I kept doing that, let her walk around in that and get used to it. And then I take it off of her and put it in an area where she sits down or lays down. And right now she's just come in from inside and she's sitting on top of her harness and the leash. But I don't, the leash is more like a toy. She'll want to go after it because she likes to go after the ring.
That's okay. That's okay. We can use that to our advantage, and that's one way that you can have her on the harness. And using, preferably, I didn't even get into that as far as we want to use a light leash, just so it doesn't. Cats don't really dig that heavy sensation of that leash, so we want to go with a really light training leash. But you can use that. Use that as a way to get her interested in moving forward. And if she wants to chase the leash, just make it a nice long one and tease her with a little bit, make her play with it, or get a little feather toy, something like that, to get her interested in moving forward. And that can of treats, hey, that's a great thing to bring that along as well too. Even to get her to go a few feet is really that's all we're asking. First, we want her to tolerate the leash and the harness, and then we want to just ask her to take a few steps. And you just work up with time and positive reinforcement with those treats. And of course, I don't want to see your kitty get chubby, but there is definitely a way. And whether or not in those other situations where she'll really take to this, it's a great way to get your kitty out and moving and get them some exercise. So I think, Joanne, that your call is probably going to inspire a lot of other people to consider that. Take their cat along with them traveling and in the car. It's a great way to make them a safe traveler. So keep up at it and let us know how that comes along. We are anxiously waiting to hear how things are going there.
Judy, she walks her cats all the time.
I do.
She does.
My cat travels in the RV, and I open the door of the RV, and he walks from the house out on the sidewalk and walks right into the RV and gets up on the dash, and he's ready to go.
It's the weirdest thing to see, I'll tell you right now.
I had a cat that used to take showers with me.
Wow.
Yep.
That's too much information there, Alan.
Yeah.
1-866-405-8405. That's the number to connect toll-free to our dream team. Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner.
Our pets don't come with replacement parts. It's estimated that 1 in 5 dogs has diagnosed arthritis, and twice that number has undiagnosed arthritis. Lubricin knows that your pet's joints deteriorate, and they often suffer in silence. Lubricin's oral joint supplement acts as a natural lubricant, ending your pet's discomfort. Lubricin has a formula for you, your pets, and your horses. Tastes great and animals love it. Visit them at www.lubricin.com. That's LUBRISYN.com.
What dog food is specifically designed to reduce the risk of cancer, settle digestive upsets, reduce scratching and shedding? Canine Caviar. What dog food reduces red tear stains and hot spots? Canine Caviar. What dog food has probiotics that reduce the chance of soft stools and have a higher calorie count for better nutrient absorption? Canine Caviar. So what are you feeding your dog? If you didn't answer Canine Caviar, visit caninecaviar.com today and get your pet started on a longer, healthier life.
My name is Jennifer. I'm 44, and I lost weight with the Amberin program.
My name is Kim. I'm 47, and I lost weight with the Amberin program.
I'm Jane. I'm 52, and I lost a ton of weight with the Amberin program. Even my belly fat is gone, and it was so easy.
Thousands of women over 40 who used to struggle with weight gain are having incredible success with the Amberin program. That's because Amberin focuses on hormonal balance. The leading cause of weight gain in women over 40, especially during menopause, is hormonal imbalance. Until you balance your hormones, losing weight can be practically impossible. But the Amberin program balances your hormones naturally, making losing weight surprisingly easy. Plus, Amberin eliminates other symptoms of unbalanced hormones, like hot flashes, irritability, and sleeplessness. Call in the next 15 minutes to receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a 30-day supply free. Call 1-800-654-6449. That's 1-800-654-6449. 1-800-654-6449. This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by the Scoop-Free Self-Cleaning Litter Box. Never see, touch, or smell messy waste again.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, it looks like more Americans are taking their pets with them when they travel. Nearly half of those that answered a new TripAdvisor poll say that their four-legged friends will be accompanying them on at least one trip over the next 12 months. You know, I just took a trip, went mountain biking up in Flagstaff, Arizona, And I couldn't believe the hotel was packed with dogs everywhere. I thought, geez, I should have brought my dog. But then I thought, you know what, sticking him in a hotel room for 4 or 5 hours a day when I'm out, I didn't think was very fair. But I guess as long as they have a nice fluffy bed and some water, they're okay. In addition, 56% intend to stay at a pet-friendly hotel. That's up about 5% from last year. 35% will be bringing Fluffy and Fido to a vacation rental compared to 24% who did so in 2011. And about 75% add that they usually don't have a tough time finding a place that will allow them to bring their animals with them. 60% take their pets on the road with them because they enjoy their animals' company. I would say 100% would enjoy their animals' company. I love having my dogs with me. Boy, when I got home, couldn't wait to see my guys. Well, you remember this song.
Into shape, shape it up, get straight, go forward, move ahead, try to detect it. It's not too late to whip it good.
DEVO's latest track, it's going to be inspired by, of all things, Mitt Romney's family dog, Seamus. The GOP presidential hopeful has been criticized, of course, you've heard about this. For a family road trip, they took their dog, Seamus, from Massachusetts to Ontario. They put him in a kennel strapped to the roof of Romney's family car. The song's titled, Don't Roof Rack Me, Bro. Remember Seamus. RollingStone.com says DEVO's new song will serve as a launch pad for founding member Gerald Cassell's Remember Seamus campaign. The track was released as a digital single on August 25th. DEVO is also involved in a number of other Seamus-related projects, including the smartphone game, The Crate Escape, Seamus Unleashed. It's also came out August 26th on National Dog Day. The new wave punk vets are best known for their 1980 hit Whip It. The band's last album, Something for Everybody, was released in 2010. A Boy Scout leader is recovering after he was attacked by a rabid beaver during a swim in the Delaware River in early August. New York's Poughkeepsie Journal reports that scouts acted quickly to help their leader and then stoned the animal until it died. Assistant Scoutmaster Norman Brousseau was with another leader and 4 scouts when the animal attacked him. He bit him in the leg, buttocks, arm, hand, and waist before the scouts pulled him to shore. Health officials in Dutchess County say a rabid beaver attack is pretty unusual. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by the Scoop-Free Self-Cleaning Litter Box. Just replace a disposable litter tray once every few weeks and never handle messy waste again. Learn more at scoopfree.com.
Do you enjoy cleaning your cat's litter box? I didn't think so. Scoop Free is the litter box that cleans itself, so you don't have to. Scoop Free automatically rakes waste away, but unlike other systems, you can leave Scoop Free alone for weeks at a time without handling waste or refilling litter. All you do is replace a disposable litter tray, and you'll never see, smell, or touch messy waste again. Learn more about the #1 rated automatic litter box at scoopfree.com.
Hi, I'm Dick Van Patten.
And I'm Jimmy Van Patten.
And we're here to talk to you about our new line of Alpha grain-free dog and cat formulas. And we've been the leaders in grain-free nutrition with our LID formulas before grain-free became a trend.
Our new grain-free Alpha formulas combine multiple high-quality proteins at balanced levels with unique fruits and vegetables for vitamins and antioxidants.
For more information on Alpha and all of my dog and cat food formulas, visit naturalbalanceinc.com.
My name is Jennifer. I'm 44, and I lost weight with the Amberin program.
My name is Kim. I'm 47, and I lost weight with the Amberin program.
I'm Jane. I'm 52, and I lost a ton of weight with the Amberin program. Even my belly fat is gone, and it was so easy.
Thousands of women over 40 who used to struggle with weight gain are having incredible success with the Amberin program. That's because Amberin focuses on hormonal balance. The leading cause of weight gain in women over 40, especially during menopause, is hormonal imbalance. Until you balance your hormones, losing weight can be practically impossible. But the Amberin program balances your hormones naturally, making losing weight surprisingly easy. Plus, Amberin eliminates other symptoms of unbalanced hormones, like hot flashes, irritability, and sleeplessness. Call in the next 15 minutes to receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a 30-day supply free. Call 1-800-654-6449. That's 1-800-654-6449. 1-800-654-6449.
Animal Radio. Celebrating our connection with our pets. Toll free. 1-866-405-8405. To animal communicator Joy Turner, dog father Joey Villani, Alan Cable. We just call him Cable around here. Dog trainer Alan Cable and Dr. Debbie all here. If you got something going on with your animals, you just want to check in, I encourage you to phone us up. There's one magazine that I read religiously. I love this magazine. It's Wired Magazine. And the editors from Wired, Bill Wasik and Monica Murphy, are joining us. Hey, gang, how you doing?
Hi there.
Now, what makes you guys write a book about, instead of like electronics or something, about rabies? Your brand new book, Rabid, A Cultural History of the World's Most Diabolical Virus, just out. Good book, by the way.
Thanks. Well, I'm an editor at Wired, and Monica, my wife, is a veterinarian.
Oh!
And so she would come home and tell me stories about rabies and just how scary and amazing it was. And, I'm really interested in history and culture and that sort of thing. And before we know it, we had this great idea for a book.
Now, is rabies really something to be afraid of? I mean, I'm thinking that was a disease that we conquered years ago, I thought.
Well, rabies still has the highest case fatality rate of any known disease. And so even though it's rare in this country to come down with rabies, if you get it, it's really bad news. Meanwhile, around the world, 55,000 people a year die of rabies.
Really?
Wow.
On a global scale, it's still really bad.
Has anybody ever survived?
There are a few scattered cases of survival, and those have all occurred in the last several years, if we're talking about survivors without vaccines.
You hear the horror stories of those vaccines that you used to have to get in the stomach. So many series. Is that the way it's still handled?
Oh, thankfully, no. We're down to four individual vaccines delivered over just a couple of weeks, and they go right in your arm.
And that's after you've been bit. How long does it go before those vaccines are really not of any use?
Well, they're gonna give you a vaccine until the time when you develop clinical signs of rabies. But any time between that bite and when you get sick, it's a good time to vaccinate. And the reason we have that little window of time is because the virus actually crawls up your nerves from the bite site to your brain. And it's only once it gets to the brain that you've got an irreversible, deadly disease.
And so the amount of time that the virus takes to get to the brain actually depends a bit on how far from the brain it is. So if you get bit on your neck by a bat, then you might develop the symptoms of rabies in a week. But if you get bit on your foot, then it can take months or even more than a year to develop rabies.
Wow.
I think it's really interesting that a lot of people don't realize the wildlife that's out in their backyards that carries or harbors the virus.
Oh, absolutely. In this country, all states except for Hawaii are affected by bat rabies. So no matter where you live, you have to worry about that. But in the east, we have raccoon rabies causing big problems. In the west, skunk rabies and fox rabies. So it's really important to keep our pets vaccinated because they sort of are often the conduit between us and the wildlife.
Yeah, you don't have to be bit by the bat or the squirrel. Your cat could have gotten into a squirrel that had rabies in the backyard.
Right, and then your cat can come down with rabies, and you can get rabies from your cat.
Even if my cat's been vaccinated for rabies?
Nope. If you keep your pet up to date on vaccines, you're safe. And you mentioned at the beginning of our talk that rabies, you have the perception that rabies isn't a big problem anymore, and to a great extent you're right, and we can thank vaccination for that, and the fact that historically people in the United States have done a really good job of keeping their dogs and cats vaccinated against rabies.
But even if the cat's transferring, I mean, if the cat doesn't get it itself, can it be a vehicle for transferring it? No. Okay. If it's been vaccinated. Go ahead, Judy.
No. I mean, we could get into some really esoteric stuff about, if the cat still had body fluids from its rabid encounter on it, if you could get it through that kind of exposure. There are things like that are theoretically possible, but I don't know of any case reports that relate to a weird situation like that.
So if you have an animal, if you're scratched by an animal that has rabies, it's not transferred that way? It's only through bodily fluids, is like a bite?
Usually it's the animal saliva has to get inside you. So
saliva.
That means either through a bite wound or into your mucous membranes. And, they sometimes will take precautions if you get a scratch, just because then the opportunity is there for the animal saliva to just splash into the scratch and cause rabies.
And I want to just to speak about some of the common things that people say about, oh, my cat doesn't need rabies. It never goes outside. I don't want to give that vaccine. I've actually had a client whose cat was not vaccinated with rabies, and a bat got in through a chimney. Wow. And it had rabies. And the cat did kill it and catch it. And it was a horrible situation because, here this person felt the cat never would be exposed, and you just don't know some of these weird situations.
Well, can the actual vaccination give you rabies, or are there any cases like that?
No, it's a very safe vaccine.
So what is the book about? Do you tell stories of people who've had rabies, or what do you say in the book?
Well, so the book is a cultural history of rabies. And so in addition to getting into a lot of the science, as we've just been talking about, and we actually also had a related story in Wired magazine about, the human patients that have survived rabies, et cetera. But the bulk of the book is actually going back to ancient times and coming all the way up to the present and talking about the deep cultural resonances of rabies, from the ancient Greeks on up to, the vampire myth, the werewolf myth, the zombie myth, and right up to the present day.
The article in Wired, a great article, talking about a couple of cases where it was too late for the vaccination, and the patients were actually put into a coma.
Wow.
One of them came out, and they didn't really know if that was a weird freak situation or not.
Well, they're still unsure. It's still a medical mystery. It's a medical controversy. Even though this experimental treatment that involves putting patients into comas, even though a few people have survived rabies after that, there's still a lot of rabies experts who believe that that's not a wise thing to do. It's certainly a very expensive treatment. Most of the people who die of rabies worldwide are in the developing world, in Asia and Africa, and so this kind of treatment would be very, very expensive to try to conduct on them. And so this is still sort of an open question. There's a lot of controversy around it.
Can you still tell, or is it a myth that the animal froths and foams from its mouth and is wild?
Well, I think they really do.
Oh, it's really true. And the stories that you hear about rabies, especially, they come around in the summertime, and it's just these animals really are transformed. There was a story from Vermont recently about a rabid cat that jumped up from the ground to bite a woman on her lip. Or you have beavers or otters who will, swim at you while you're swimming out in the lake somewhere and bite your leg, 15 times. These are creatures, not so much cats and dogs, but these rabid wildlife creatures, that will normally, you'll never see them. They'll run away if a human being is there, and then suddenly they're transformed into these monsters.
I encourage you to check out the book. It's called Rabid. It is available really anywhere. You can pick it up at your bookstore. It's doing very well on the shelves. You must be proud of that. And, in fact, I have 5 copies to give away. Is that true, Judy? 1-866-405-8405. Rabid, A Cultural History of the World's Most Diabolical Virus. Wired senior editor Bill Wasik and veterinarian Monica Murphy joining us. Thank you so much, guys, for spending time with us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
There you go. And if you haven't had your pets neutered yet, gotten their rabies shots.
We'll take those suckers away as well. Yeah.
Bill Wasik and Monica Murphy calling in on their Sports Illustrated phone. They probably won that for their subscription to Wired. They're at the cutting edge of electronics, that magazine.
Technology stinks. I'm here to tell you.
Hi, this is Jenna Fisher on Animal Radio. Please spay and neuter your animals.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
One 866-405-8405. That is toll free to the Animal Radio Dream Team. That includes Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions, dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, or right now animal communicator Joey Turner. And Jerry, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Well, I had a question for Joy. My horse died on the 21st of December last year, and there's circumstances around his death are just unsettling. I'm seriously wondering if there wasn't foul play involved, and I didn't know if you could communicate with him and find out what happened.
Well, yes, I can, and depending on what he has to say, it may take a little more time than we might have for the air, but tell me his name, please.
His name was Joe.
What do you know about how he passed, or do you know nothing?
All I know is it was he wasn't sick. There was no injury. He just died. I called the vet out to have the vet look him over to see if he could see any signs of foul play, and he couldn't see anything, but he said it's the strangest thing that he'd ever seen because he said the horse was dead before he hit the ground.
Okay, and Joe has popped in to connect with me. He wants you to know that it was his heart, and he does not remember hitting the ground. The only thing he remembers is he was there, he was fine, and then just like a split second of a very strange, bad feeling in his heart area, and down he went.
Okay.
It feels to me almost like his heart exploded, but that is what the feeling feels like that he sends me.
Well, it's strange that you should use those exact words because I've used the same words. Because, like I said, that's why the vet said it was so strange. He said he'd never seen anything like it. There was no signs of thrashing or anything. He said, that he was dead before he hit the ground, and that was about the only thing I could think of would be, as far as natural causes, was that it was just a heart attack, and I even thought almost like his heart exploding.
Yeah, and in fact, it's so sudden. Actually, I've never felt anybody, when they've shown me how they've passed from heart issues, be this instantaneously gone. I mean, seriously, like less than a second, he was just gone.
Yeah.
He says, the good news is there's nothing really to worry about, and he doesn't know why that happened.
Well, I'd say most people that happens to would probably say the same thing. They didn't know why that happened.
Jerry, if you'd like to carry on a longer conversation with him, I'm happy to do that for you during a private session. You can get my information off the Animal Radio website.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for your call, Jerry. 1-866-405-8405 to connect with our dream team.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Animal Radio is brought to you by Natural Balance Pet Food, the finest food you can buy for the health of your pet. No matter which line of Natural Balance Pet Food you choose, you know it will truly be the food for a lifetime. Visit www.naturalbalance.net to learn more.
Free 1-866-405-8405. That gets you connected with Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, or animal communicator Joy Turner. I understand, Joey, I see on the docket you're going to be talking about grooming a cat. Which what do you need, gauntlets for that?
I'm talking about de-shedding a cat that doesn't want to be brushed. That's what we're going to be talking about. And yeah,
that sounds bloody.
Actually, this is a good topic dangerous. Actually, because a lot of people have cats that don't like to be brushed. So stay tuned.
That's on the way right there. And let's see, what is that you're drinking, Alan? Is that
that's coffee with the sweet carnation junk in there that my wife loves to use. I love this stuff. It gives it a little sweet flavor.
A little shot of vodka or something in there.
No. When I'm doing that, I go all the way. There's no shot involved.
I'll tell you, you know what's good about having Alan on the show is I am I'm a groomer. I'm a non-trainer completely. I'm the worst at it because I just really never gave to you know where I'm going with that. But to be honest with you, since I've been on the show, I feel like I'm like a semi-trainer. I mean, I had a woman once that came in, and this is a true story, and she says to me, she caught me off guard completely. She's having a problem with her dog. And, well, what's the problem? She said, when I lay in the bed, the dog humps my head. What do I do? So my only answer was, get him a girlfriend. I didn't know what to say.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, it seems like the whole team's coming together, and we're very happy to announce that starting September 22nd, Wendy Diamond, Lady Extraordinaire, will be joining the Dream Team here at Animal Radio.
Coming together. It sounds like we're falling apart.
Yeah, maybe that's what's really happening here. Listen, if you're a man of the well, I'm a man of the 60s, pretty much. I grew up listening to great groups like DEVO, and one of my favorite songs was the song about the greyhound, the miniature greyhound, Whip It. You remember that song, Whip It?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we have with us today from DEVO founder Gerald Casale. How are you doing, Gerald?
Pretty good.
I understand that you have a brand new song out. I'm going to play it in just a couple of seconds here, called Don't Roof Rack Me Bro. I could only assume this has to do with Mitt Romney's, the dog on Mitt Romney's roof, which seems to have disappeared in the news for some reason.
Yeah, well, story had legs for a while. But no, it's an ode to Seamus posthumously. We feel Seamus is a martyr. Seamus is an icon.
Seamus was the dog, right?
That's
that
right.
was on the roof.
Yes.
Beautiful Irish setter, yeah.
And what was the deal? He was had diarrhea all over the back of They were on a vacation, the Romneys. They were on a vacation.
You know, you put a dog in a small wooden crate on top of a car in the middle of the summer and drive for hours on end, and something bad's going to happen.
Like 12 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 12 hours worth. Somewhere during that 12 hours, Seamus started convulsing and to show his joy on that ride. Mitt's wife says he just loved it up there.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
He showed how much he loved it. Like mounds of liquid poo coming down over the windows, and they had to pull over, of course, and they pulled into a gas station, and Mitt was a well-known person. I think it was while he was governor. He was 36 years old. Mm-hmm. And they took the thing apart. They washed the crate out. They hosed the dog down, made sure the dog was okay, washed the car. And then in front of everyone, they put the crate back on top of the car, strapped it down, and put Seamus back in the crate and took off.
Jeez.
That sounds like something Dick Cheney would devise.
So he doubled down on that because there was some law against having a crate on top of your car unless it was airtight. So he started mentioning in the interviews, whenever the anchorman or whoever was interviewing him would ask him about it, he would say, "Oh, it was an airtight crate."
Our dog loves not being able to breathe and loves puking all over itself.
We should put him on the roof on a car and drive around until he has explosive diarrhea, and then hose him out and put him back.
And you know what's funny? His hair would stay the same.
And that was it. I mean, I just was, as a pet owner, an animal lover, I couldn't believe this story when it came out. And it came out during the Republican primary debates. It was the other Republican candidates that were bringing it up to impugn Mitt's character, because they were battling each other in a kind of WWF smackdown.
We brought this up several times. In fact, we were one of the first radio shows to really report this early on, even before the presidential candidates even came around. But one of the things that we always hear about when we talk about this is, hey, guys, why are you being so partisan? What about Obama? He ate dog.
I love that. They had to look up the word equivocation. They keep making these apples and oranges arguments. Here's a 9-year-old boy in another culture who was fed dead dog meat, and here is a beautiful living Irish setter and a 36-year-old man in America. It's like apples and oranges.
And it has nothing to do with politics. I mean, it's just, common sense. Why would you put a living thing on top of your car? I mean, would you put a baby up there? Oh, the baby got sick in the car. We had to put the baby up there.
They wanted to make a mess.
As human beings, we created all the breeds of dogs, for God's sake. We made it happen. We made them dependent on us.
Sure.
We are their wards. And it's symbiotic relationship. We owe them something. Anybody that would abuse a dog, a child, or an elderly person is a bad guy.
Okay, well, let's give the song a spin. What do you say?
All right.
Okay, this is DEVO, and these are all the original members who got together for this?
Absolutely.
And the song is called Don't Roof Rack Me, Bro.
Don't roof rack me, bro. Gotta let me go. Don't roof rack me, bro. Put me down on the ground. Don't roof rack me, bro. Man, I told you so. Don't roof rack me, bro. Now the front's coming down. The front's coming down. Seamus, please come back. Your former master is on the attack. If he
listening to Animal Radio.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Stella and Chewy's. Natural goodness for dogs made with raw USDA-inspected meats, raised naturally. No added hormones or antibiotics. They also got a great cat food, too. Get the official food of Ladybug, the studio's stunt dog, at StellaandChewy's.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the dog father, Joey Villani.
You know, you got to do me a favor, though. You have to tell these people that when they email, well, they sent it to my personal email.
Oh, yeah? How do they get to
people
your
that are listening?
Yeah.
When they send me an email, please leave it brief. This woman sent me 3 pages, and what it basically came down to was her cat doesn't like to be brushed, and the cat's leaving hair all over the house, and she's having problems with hairballs, I guess because the cat's licking itself, and she can't brush the cat, yada, yada, yada.
Keep those emails brief.
Brief, please. You know, cat shedding. What do I do? Doesn't like brush. Perfect. That would be it. But anyway, what you're going to do is this. You're going to go out and you're going to get yourself a pair of heavy work gloves. You know, like a little heavier than like the garden gloves. You ever see the ones? I don't know. They have like that material on it. They're suede. They're the suede gloves, work gloves. You see them. So you're going to get yourself a pair of them. And then you're going to go out and you're going to get yourself. You know what cheesecloth is? You can get it at any supermarket, any food store.
Sure.
Any hardware store. Okay, so you can get some cheesecloth.
Cheesecloth and gloves, okay.
Cheesecloth, gloves, and a sponge. Okay, I'd say spray bottle of water, but most cats don't like water being sprayed at them, so don't use the spray, especially if you got a cat that's already biting you for the brush. Well, the cat's definitely going to bite you after you spray him with some water. Mm-hmm. So what you're going to do is you're going to dampen the sponge, and you're going to wet the cat down with the sponge. Okay, so what that's going to do, it just moisten the coat a little bit, and it's going to make the hair stick. You're going to put the glove on, whatever hand that you're not holding the cat with, because usually cats just don't want to, sit there. And you're going to put that on. I'm righty, so I would put this on my left hand, and I would wrap the glove with the cheesecloth, okay? And maybe here a little bit of tape so it doesn't come off. Now, what the cheesecloth is going to do, it's going to act as almost like Velcro, where it's just going to grab everything. And you're just going to pet your cat. You're going to pet your cat, and hopefully your cat likes to be pet. If your cat don't like to be pet, well, then I don't know what the hell to do. Because then bring them to the groomer. But if your cat likes to be pet, you're going to pet your cat all over, the head, down the back, down the tail, down the legs, massage, rub it in. And you're going to notice by the time you're done, you're going to look like you're holding your cat in your left hand, but you're not. It's going to be all the hair that just came off the kitty, okay? And it'll make things a lot easier. You'll be happier. The cat will be happier. Now, on a long-haired cat, it's a little bit more challenging because you really got to get the knots and tangles out first. And if your cat's not letting you brush it to begin with, or him to begin with, you really need to go to the professional groomer and have it done. Cats can be a little bit dangerous, and cat bites are extremely dangerous because cats clean themselves, so they have a lot more bacteria in their mouth than canines do. So when they bite you, that bacteria gets, jammed down into your under your skin, and I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, every time I've had a cat bite, I've gotten an infection shortly after. And I'm going to say probably about 90% of the time. So don't mess around if your cat's knotted. Bring it to the groomer and have it done. Then after that, you can do the same procedure on your long-haired cat that I just told you to do on your short-haired cat. It works well. It also helps remove knots and tangles before they begin because it separates the coat. And again, the water is an important step. Don't forget that, because if the cat's damp, it just pulls it out, it draws it out a little bit easier.
But put it on a sponge, right?
Use it, yes, absolutely, because the spray bottle sometimes that just is a little startling, and it could make things worse. If you put it on a sponge, the cat just thinks she's getting petted with something. Sometimes they act as if it's a toy. But this works really good. Matter of fact, we used to do this in the grooming salon for the short-haired cats that we had to de-shed that didn't like the brushes because we didn't want to get bit either. And believe it or not, those work gloves work really good. Now, if the cat bites, they may go through a little bit, but it's going to offer a hell of a lot of protection.
Sure.
Where, you know what, you may not have to go to the hospital or wherever you go the next day, because you will be going if that cat breaks the skin.
Okay, very good.
And there you go.
There you go. Gloves,
I thought it was really good.
cheesecloth.
I mean, you didn't sound so friggin' enthused there.
Well, no,
I
on,
thought that
Hal.
was a good one.
That was a good one.
We're
That
very
really was.
excited, Joe.
Cheesecloth,
Thank you.
a sponge, and gloves, which also makes for a great Saturday night, by the way.
Celebrating our connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio. Here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Judy's screening your calls at 1-866-405-8405. I have the pleasure of hanging out with Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable.
Thank you.
Dog father Joey Villani.
Hey, what's up?
Give it up, Hal.
Bad impersonation.
Yeah.
And animal communicator Joy Turner is all here for you. Today on the show, kind of an interesting show. We have Stanley Coren, who's written a lot of books. Most of them have been very clinical in nature, but he has a brand new book called Do Dogs Dream? And they answer a lot of questions like, do dogs dream? We'll find out all the answers to your questions today on the show. If you have any questions, Facebook us or tweet us or email us at yourvoice@animalradio.com, or even give us a call at the toll-free 1-866-405-8405. That's all on the way right here, including your calls. And Stacy, what are you working on?
I don't know if you remember, a couple weeks ago, somebody found Jesus in a burrito. I don't know. It was the image of Jesus, and they thought they could sell it and make some money. But, you know, you move one bean, and the whole image changes.
Oh, darn.
One little smushed bean, and it's no longer Jesus. Now somebody has found Michael Jackson in bird droppings on their windshield, and they tried to sell it on eBay. I'll tell you what happened. Coming up on Animal Radio News.
Where else but Animal Radio? Let's hit the phones. 1-866-405-8405, toll free right now. Or you can send us your questions on the Animal Radio app for iPhone or smartphone, Android. Or just tweet us or Facebook us. And by the way, we're still giving away a lot of great stuff at Facebook, so come on over there and join us. Hi, Victoria. Welcome to Animal Radio.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Well, thank you for taking my question today. I'm a first-time listener.
That's the second new listener. Well, welcome.
Thank you, and I do appreciate it because I have a question that I've had a concern about for not quite the last year, but I have a Siamese cat that's over 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And my concern was that she's not using her litter box any longer.
Okay,
and,
for either peeing or pooping?
That's never happened. She's been very clean, and, you know, she knows she's doing it. Not in the litter box, and I can't understand why.
Okay. Now, has the kitty cat been to the veterinarian anytime recently as far as, like, checking her health status?
No. Actually, I inherited this cat. My father passed on, and so it's his cat, although she's familiar with the whole family, and so I know the history of the animal. But, no, I haven't recently, and she's very healthy. So I don't know what it is. I have actually another cat as well that's younger. They have separate litter boxes. Mm-hmm. And they're kept clean, you know, and they're kept in a private, separate area. So
okay. Well, I can tell you, I can guarantee you there's something wrong. And I'm not saying that to startle you or freak you out in any way, but for a cat that's had a normal pattern of avoiding behavior and then all of a sudden stops using the box, there's a couple things that come to the forefront of my concern list. Number one is arthritis. Number two is arthritis. And number three is arthritis. And today, you know, I even had a very lengthy discussion with a client today who was kind of arguing the fact that her cat wasn't in pain because she didn't cry out. And what we have to really look back and recognize is cats are not dogs and cats are not people. So we may complain and moan and carry on and tell our loved ones when we've got a headache or something's hurting us, but cats really don't do that. It just doesn't do them any good. They may change in their patterns of behavior, and one of the common things that we can see with low-grade chronic pain is the avoidance of the litter box. And, you know, whether or not she recognizes it and knows that she's not using the litter box, it may not be even a concern of hers. Hers is if she's in pain, she doesn't feel like crawling into the litter pan. She may not feel like making those movements or even scratching. So in many cases with older kitties, there's a couple steps litter pan-wise I will do. Number one is, you know, definitely see your veterinarian. Make sure she does have a good health exam, and we rule out other health problems that could be going on. Other things medically, diabetes, kidney problems, any other concerns concerns. But I would want to see about getting her on some arthritis remedies. We can use things like glucosamine in cats, and we can use some different injection products. There's one called Adequan that can be used to help control arthritic pain. We can't use a lot of the routine pain remedies you use for people or dogs. So no over-the-counter pain remedies for cats without direction. But sometimes addressing the arthritic pain on a medication level can be very helpful in making them more comfortable and restoring them back to some of their normal behaviors. But in the meantime, I would also do some changes in the litter pan itself. I will oftentimes cut the litter pan edges down in half, or sometimes you can actually go to the store and buy under bed storage boxes which have a lower edge, and use that as an alternative for the litter box. That way they don't have to step up and go into something. That can make it very useful. Now, some other things for an old cat when they're not using the box that I'll look at, there could be some vision problems. That hopefully would be picked up on a physical exam with your doctor. But also, I found that adding a nightlight to the litter box region can be very helpful for some senior cats. They're not going to complain and say, "Hey, Mom, I don't see." But that little step can sometimes help them feel more comfortable and confident in finding their way to the litter box. Okay. And then we do even see some senility problems in cats. And, that can be loss of house training in dogs. And we can see the same thing in cats as part of the kind of deterioration of what they would recognize as their normal behaviors. So that might be something also to talk to your veterinarian about, whether that might fit into her category there. But I would definitely say we've got a lot of possible remedies we can try. And you said there's 2 boxes in this house right now?
Well, actually, they're in the garage, and the cat door leads into the garage, and there's just 2 small steps. But if it can affect the cat in the way that you explained, that could be really big for her,
Yeah. Something as simple as, putting a litter box on the same even level that the kitty spends most of her time, or in another part of the house so that we don't have to walk across the whole house to find the litter source. That seems so easy to us, but, if we do have some health problems, making it convenient can really make the difference here.
Right, I understand. Sounds like a good plan.
I'm going to throw in my 2 cents. I'm going to throw in my 2 cents worth because Dr. Debbie.
Oh, sure, because Hal has to, right?
I have to because this is from you. And, this is kind of interesting, but we have, as you know, Tigger's the studio cat, one of the other studio cats. She's 11 years old?
She's 11 years old, yes.
Okay, so she's been using her litter all her life, and now we just noticed that she would go poo in the litter and that she would pee next to the litter on some carpet. And we kind of thought, what's that about? So we asked Dr. Debbie, and Dr. Debbie said, why don't you put a litter out with a piece of carpet in it? And, believe it or not, she uses that religiously now to pee in. So what we figure, it worked. What we figure is that she probably is getting older and maybe arthritic, and she doesn't want to be digging in the sand or through the litter. But we have cured the problem. The problem is fixed because we accommodated her.
Good. Yeah, it's a low litter box, so she doesn't have to climb into it. It's low. The sides are low, and the carpet. And I went to my local carpet store and got a bunch of scrap remnants and
for real cheap.
So now I can just dispose of them,
and she loves that litter. She uses it.
My concern was that she wasn't going to be able to differentiate between that carpet and then the carpet on the floor, but she goes.
But she's going in the right spot, right?
In the right spot.
Victoria, is your animal is your cat doing pooping outside the litter too?
Yes.
Oh, the whole deal.
I mean, it's actually inside the house because the litter boxes because there's 2 animals. I mean, 2 cats. I have 2 separate boxes, of course, that are separate, but they're in the garage, of course, so that it's not in the house.
We put ours all over the house.
Location.
Yeah.
We wish you the best of luck with that, and thank you for listening. 1-866-405-8405 to connect with the Dream Team right now.
Vetricin, a one-stop wound and skincare product that will not harm healthy tissue. Vetricin is great for hot spots, cuts, scratches, and even rashes. Vetricin is non-toxic and is safe for puppies and kittens. This safe, easy-to-apply product makes caring for your pet's wounds or irritations easy. Be sure to have some on hand at all times. Great for the dog park and traveling. Visit Vetricin's Facebook page to see how you can win free product. For more information, go to vetricin.com. That's VETERICYN.com. AnimalRadio.com.
This is Judy from Animal Radio. For months now, I've been telling you about the Stella and Chewy's dog food. Now I want to tell you about their cat food, made with 100% raw meat. And just like all Stella and Chewy's products, these dinners are made without grains, fillers, artificial preservatives, colorings, sugar, or salt. They come in 4 flavors: Chick Chicken, Super Beefalicious, Charming Chicken and Beef, and Yummy Lickin' Salmon and Chicken. Visit their website at stellaandchewy's.com. That's Chewy's, CHEWYS.com.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency. Do you know the number one cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions. Protect you and your family from sudden unexpected medical costs. Call the free health insurance hotline right now at 1-800-838-5562. That's 1-800-838-5562. Call 1-800-838-5562.
Hi, this is Park Overall. I am just thrilled about Animal Radio. Please, spay and neuter your animals. Please.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Greetings, Animal Radio lovers. It's time for a brand new installment of The Party Animal. That's me, Vinnie Penn. Actually, it's a very special episode of, I want to be reverential of The Party Animal. Rest in peace, Betty. For those of you who have been following the Party Animal adventures, you know that my daughter and I went out and bought a goldfish named Betty, a betta fish. And Betty lived exactly 1 year and passed away this past 4th of July. My daughter was unbelievably strong upon the loss. And for those of you out there who really know and really have paid attention, you might be wondering, was Vinnie Penn a hypocrite? And he did a big rant about why goldfish were unceremoniously flushed down the toilet and not given a proper burial. I'll have you know, I am a hypocrite, but I just wasn't in this particular instance. She was buried in the backyard and words were said. A moving eulogy was delivered by myself and by my 6-year-old daughter. Interestingly enough, though, Betty, just a few weeks before, we had bought another fish named Elmer, and had one of those split tanks. We bought a new tank, and it was split. So now my son had his own fish, and my daughter had her own in Betty. And Betty died not long after Elmer's arrival. Could it have been fishicide? Could Betty have killed herself? In all honesty, those of you out there know fish. Could this have happened? I mean, they weren't in the same tank, and yet somehow it wasn't long after that Betty swam her final days. And now my daughter wants a brand new pet. Oh, I can't even get into that. I will tell you in next week's installment what my daughter's new pet is now that her goldfish has passed away, what she wants it to be anyway. But give me an email, Vinny@animalradio.com. We added a fish to the tank, a split tank, though, important to note. And the one that was there longer died only a few weeks later. Vinnie Penn, Party Animal, Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. You can learn more at animalradio.com. Log on. Learn more.
Stanley Coren answering those questions that we've all been asking ourselves. Do dogs dream?
I have so many questions.
Who are they looking at in the mirror? Do they know it's themselves?
Do they love me?
what colors do they see? All those questions that we've wondered. He will answer them, and we'll have giveaways of his new book. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm having a conversation with the listener right now internally, what they're thinking.
Okay, Hal.
They want to stick around for this. You want to stick around for this. Hey, you want to give away some Vetricin?
Let's do it. That
cool.
stuff is great.
Well, we've been you know what we used it on once when Ladybug had a tick. We had to pull out the tick.
Yeah, and it left a little sore spot.
Little sore spot. Mm-hmm. So we used this Vetricin. You hear us talking about it. It's like a spray for wound and infections.
Well, there's sprays, but there's a lot of other products too. And in my office, there's an ear wash that we use a lot for resistant infections. So there's a lot of different applications with our products.
Hot spots too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and give out a 16-ounce bottle right now of the wound and infection care. 5 of them? Oh,
yes.
We're too damn good to these listeners.
I know. I want to give away 5.
It speeds the healing. It really does. They say up to 60% faster. We used it on. She had a little bump. Not that our dog has a lot of things going on, because she really doesn't. But it healed really, really fast.
And I want to put this in the hands of everybody. Everybody needs this for their pet.
You should. You need to have a product like this in your first aid kit. So You don't want to have a lot of things that you're not going to use. But this is going to be something you can use for a cut, an infection, all the way across the board.
It doesn't sting either. You know, like when you fell over as a kid, you stubbed your toe or your knee, and your mom would put iodine on your knee, and it would sting. It doesn't sting. It's strong enough to kill 99.999% of bacteria and viruses and fungi. But it won't sting doing that. So
and they can lick it, and it won't harm them.
I love it. Vetricin. Let's give away 5 bottles right now at 1-866-405-8405. How's that sound for you? This show, they're damn good to me. That's what you're thinking right now, huh?
And you know what? I just did a cat enema. It seems every time I get on air, I do something really weird. Either there's eyeballs popping out or enemas in cats.
A cat enema. I'm pretty sure that you have to put on gloves for that. Right?
Yeah, gloves and sometimes protective eyewear, I'll tell you. Sometimes when you get a little liquid, it just kind of propels things and...
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
You know, your job is one of those jobs you either love or hate. I got to tell you that right now.
You got to like grossness. I mean, any kid that wants to be a veterinarian, if you can't stand the smell of dog poo, or you can't stand something really pussy or boogery looking, it's not for you. You got to love that stuff.
And you do.
I do, yeah. I guess so.
Were you like that from a kid, from a teenager? Did your parents freak out? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I think what they really knew they were in trouble when I had a little pet lizard, a little fence lizard, and his name was Rambo. And he was a delight. I loved him. I wasn't really allowed a lot of pets, believe it or not. So I loved him, and he died. And I wanted to know why he died. So my mom came home, and I was on the kitchen table dissecting him after he had passed away. And granted, I still got dinner that night, but she was very disgusted I used the kitchen table for that purpose.
So you were doing an autopsy is what you were doing.
Exactly. Just trying to, deduce the cause of death.
And did you figure it out?
Well, it was a combination of things, but I was trying to force feed him, and I kind of contributed to part of the problem. He had a cricket stuck in his throat. Yeah. But there's a lot of things you learn when you have these critters. You learn what they need, and that's a very important thing. That learn the husbandry, their diet, their temperature, environment, all that.
Very good. Well, you've come a long ways. If you have a question for Dr. Debbie right now, 1-866-405-8405. We have Alan on the phones. Hey, Alan, how are you doing?
Doing good.
What's going on in your world?
My dog Daisy, my girlfriend's dog Daisy, and my dog Daisy. She has a personal thing, like a keyword, if you know what I'm meaning.
Couldn't quite hear that. I'm sorry.
The dog has a P word, if you know what I'm meaning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she has her monthly cycle, or her twice a year cycle, I should say.
Yeah.
Is it only twice a year? Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, don't they get off easy, man? I don't know how that goes, Judy.
Yeah, that's not fair.
So your dog is having her heat cycle.
Yeah.
And what about that? What are you...
I was wondering, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I mean, it's nature, and this is exactly what is meant to happen as far as in preparation for pregnancy. Now, for dogs, if she's a pet and you're not intending to breed her, the best thing that I actually recommend is to get her spayed, to have the surgical sterilization done, so that not only so she doesn't have heat cycles, because it's more than just the bother, although, I think many women would agree that the surgery would be well worth it. But as far as by having her spayed, we're also protecting her against a lot of other reproductive diseases. And one of the biggest ones is a condition called pyometra. And it's an infection that happens in the uterus, in the reproductive structures. And it's very serious. It can be totally be prevented by spaying. So it would be a very good measure for your dog to prevent that type of thing, as well as all those cancers that can happen in an intact female dog. And that can be done, surgery can be done while she's in heat. Some folks opt to wait till they're out of their cycle, just to minimize complications. But either which way, I think that will be the best way we can ensure you don't have to deal with this, and that we can keep her in top health.
So, time to get her spayed, okay?
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Thanks, Alan, for your call. 1-866-405-8405, toll free to the Animal Radio Dream Team. This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Pet Stay. The dog days are every day with Pet Stay. It's available exclusively from Imperial Palace and Rio Resorts in Las Vegas. Pet Stay provides the unique in-room amenities for dogs, including the food, the water dish, the sleeping mat, dog treats, and even a specialty room service menu. Yeah. Oh, boy. Details at Caesars.com/PetStay Las Vegas. If you head out there tonight, you can check out the Masquerade Show in the Sky. I haven't seen it.
It's so much fun.
Is it?
I love it.
Have you had a chance to check it out?
It's one of those great cheap things. It doesn't cost a thing.
It's free.
Yes, it is so much fun. I enjoy it. And they throw the beads and all that. It's great.
It all happens apparently above you in the sky somewhere. I haven't seen it yet, but it's...
Oh, where is it at?
The Rio.
I've seen that. I've got some beads.
Oh, well, you've seen that.
I have. I've caught some beads. They throw them and you can catch them.
Oh, Masquerade Village at the Rio.
Yes.
Check it out. Bring your pet tonight and enjoy the Pet Stay program. Thanks, guys, for sponsoring Animal Radio.
Concierge Desk, this is Amanda. Yes, I can recommend a great place for a walk.
Imperial Palace and Rio in Las Vegas are rolling out 4-star treatment for our four-legged friends. Our new Pet Stay program includes in-room accommodations for up to 2 dogs, food and water dishes, sleeping mat, dog treats, specialty room service menus, and more. The dog days are here. Book your stay at Caesars.com/PetStay Las Vegas or call 800-427-7247.
When you're in the mood for the perfect cup of coffee or tea, look to the Bosch Tassimo home brewing system with unique barcode technology. Enjoy your home brew in the peace of your kitchen, virtually silent thanks to Bosch dishwashers. Bosch has the quietest dishwasher line in North America, which is one of the many reasons that Bosch dishwashers are ranked #1 and a best value by a leading consumer publication. And because it's a Bosch, you'll know you're getting the best. We've built versatility into everything we design. It's time to step up to Bosch. Visit a Best Buy store near you or go to bestbuy.com/Bosch for special offers and product information. Bosch. Invented for life. Bosch offers the quietest dishwashers in North America, and no major brand offers a quieter model at any Bosch price point. June 2012. Class defined by similarly priced and designed models of major brands. Based on a leading consumer publication, June 2012. Tassimo is a registered trademark of Kraft Foods.
Hey, honey.
Hi, Dad.
What you drawing?
It's our house. That's you.
Oh.
Me.
Huh?
Mom and Josh.
Wow.
Playing ball.
You are becoming quite the artist.
When you're a kid, you don't know that home ownership builds communities. That owning a home contributes to higher self-esteem and better test scores. You just know that home is where you play, grow, and learn. The National Association of Realtors wants you to know that home ownership matters to our families, our neighborhoods, and our country. Learn more at houselogic.com/home ownership.
This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Frolicat, the award-winning automatic pet toys that provide hours of fun for you and your pets.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. The Suffolk County SPCA is upping the ante in hopes of finding the person who threw a pit bull puppy from a moving car on Long Island.
to put a 3-month-old puppy in a plastic garbage bag and toss it out of a window, out of a moving vehicle. I mean, this is just something beyond comprehension.
That's the Suffolk SPCA chief, Roy Gross, who says a reward of $25,000 is now being offered in the case. Gross says that the puppy has now been named Joey, and he was tossed out of this moving vehicle in a plastic bag. He was malnourished, several neck fractures, and bite marks were on his neck. And he says it's 50-50 whether this little dog is going to survive. Gross says that calls have been pouring into the SPCA with offers to pay for Joey's treatment and requests to adopt him if and when he recovers. Police in Florida are still looking for a suspect in a case involving some 500 missing canaries. According to Miami's WFOR-TV, the victim, Manuel Sanchez, has been keeping canaries for the past 20 years. The 87-year-old man says somebody broke into his home earlier this summer. They made off with all of his feathered friends. The thief allegedly sold the birds to 3 local pet stores where each canary goes for about $20 to $30. Sanchez was able to recover about 150 of the birds, but police are asking anybody with more information to please come forward. Well, one man's hopes of selling bird droppings, he said, bore a resemblance to the late king of pop, have been washed away. The seller, Brandon Tudor of Oswego, Illinois, says he immediately noticed the likeness to Michael Jackson. It's usually Jesus that they say, but this one is Michael Jackson, when the droppings hit the windshield of his 1996 Cadillac Seville last week. The Courier News says the 29-year-old father of 3 put the windshield up for sale on eBay with a starting bid of $500, but his hopes of turning profit with his Jackson image droppings seemed to bottom out. The paper says rain washed away Tudor's windshield art, it seems like earlier in the week. There's a sheep named Lingonberry, and he's celebrating this week after winning Scotland's first town centre sheep race. I'll tell you what, the dogs are going to be a little jealous of this one, the greyhounds. According to BBC News, the animals were ridden through the streets of Moffat by knitted jockeys. Onlookers were able to place small bets on the races, which took place in several heats throughout the day. Organizer Thomas McDonald says that he hopes the races will turn into an annual event that lasts over an entire week than just one day. That must have been fun to see little sheep running through the streets of Scotland. They do that anyway, don't they? They have like a herding dog that'll get them through. But now you could bet on it. What's more fun than that? You can make a few bucks. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Frolicat, the award-winning automatic pet toys that exercise and entertain your pets. Learn more at frolicat.com.
Cats need to stimulate their curiosity, and Frolicat toys automatically entertain and exercise your pet. Turn on Frolicat Bolt or Frolicat Dart and watch your cat chase after randomly generated laser patterns. Or program Frolicat Twitch to turn on automatically so your cat can play while you are away. Frolicat's award-winning designs fit into your modern home and are fun for you and your pet. Buy them at your favorite store or learn more at frolicat.com.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency. Do you know the number one cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions. Protect you and your family from sudden unexpected medical costs. Call the free health insurance hotline right now at 1-800-838-5562. That's 1-800-838-5562. Call 1-800-838-5562.
The heart health benefits are enormous. Thankfully, the Mega Red Soft Gel is not. Mega Red 100% pure omega-3 krill oil from Schiff. Just one small Mega Red per day supports your heart health. And unlike fish oil soft gels, Mega Red soft gels are easy to swallow with no fishy smell or aftertaste. Big heart health benefits. One small soft gel. Mega Red omega-3 krill oil from Schiff.
We're taking your calls, of course, toll-free at 1-866-405-8405. You can also email us your questions at yourvoice@animalradio.com or on Facebook even at Animal Radio, or tweet them to us. We like them nice and short like that at Animal Radio. And don't forget, you can also send your questions via the Animal Radio app for iPhone or Android. Download that right away. You know, I have ADD. I don't think that's any secret. And when I find a book that captures my attention, you know it's a damn good book. And we welcome back to the show Stanley Coren, who wrote the book Do Dogs Dream? And it has nearly everything your dog wants you to know. And it's in little bite-sized pieces. You know, a couple of pages here, 2 or 3 pages there. Great information. Stanley, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here.
Okay, let's get down to brass and taxes. Obviously, the book Do Dogs Dream, that's the first question.
Yes.
Do dogs dream? Obviously, I see my dog, he'll
cry
and move around, do all those things when they're asleep. So I'm assuming so.
Well, the reason that people care about this is you know, in part because we just want to get inside those little furry heads.
Oh, you bet.
What's going on. But in part, you know, psychologists really care about it because if dogs dream, then it means they probably have consciousness, because dreaming is just a conscious event. And so the easiest way to bring a whole bunch of psychologists out into the hallway all yelling and screaming at one another is just to stand out there and say, dogs have consciousness. But anyway, it does turn out to be the case that dogs dream. And we know this for a whole bunch of reasons. Okay, there's a special marker which you get when an individual goes out and when an individual goes to sleep and begins to dream. And that what happens is the eyes begin to move behind the closed eyelids, and they move in very systematic ways. So, you know, if you are awakened and people, you say, what was happening while I was dreaming about a tennis match? In fact, if you looked at the eye movements, the person's eyes were swinging back and forth, and that sort of thing. So it looks as though we actually use our eye movements to watch what we're dreaming. So these rapid eye movements are a marker for dreaming. Sort of almost every time when you wake somebody up and they have those rapid eye movements, they're dreaming. And dogs do have the rapid eye movements. Now, the interesting thing about this is that for human beings, we tend to dream maybe about 20 minutes out of every 90 minutes or something like that. But for dogs, you know, the average dog, if you watch him, when he goes to sleep, first his breathing is going to become very regular, and then his breathing is going to become a little bit irregular, and he'll start to twitch a little bit. And then, if you look at his eyes, you'll see his eyes flicking back and forth. So he'll be dreaming. For the average dog, you know, he'll dream, let's say about 3 minutes or something like that, out of every 25 or so minutes. But there's a neat little thing having to do with dogs, and that is smaller dogs have more dreams, but they're shorter, and bigger dogs have longer dreams, but they're more widely spaced. So a little pug-type dog is going to have maybe a 1-minute dream every 10 minutes, and a big St. Bernard is going to have maybe a 4-minute dream every 45 minutes.
Now, that's interesting. Why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
The boss never told me why he set this thing up like that. But we do know one thing, which is very important, and I think this is something people seem to be very curious about, and that is, what is it the dogs dream about?
Yeah, Bones.
And sometimes we think we know. I mean, when dogs, legs are twitching and it looks like he's running after something or something like that. But it turns out that when you dream, the muscles all turn off. If they didn't turn off, you'd actually act out your dreams. And we know there's two little centers back in the older part of the brain, something called the pons and something called the medulla oblongata, so the really old part of the brainstem. And you can turn off that switch, which turns off the muscles. And when that happens, the dogs act out their dreams. And in fact, we now know that dogs dream doggy things. So, pointers point at dream birds, and Doberman Pinschers chase dream burglars.
My dog seems to be distressed. She's whining. She's crying. Should I wake her up when she's having a dream like that?
No. Would you wake up your child?
If they were screaming, I would think that they would have a nightmare.
You see, the thing is that the off switch is not perfect on some dogs. So you're just catching a little bit of this sort of, acting out. And it's not good to wake up individuals when they're dreaming, because we need a certain amount of dream time. And, there's other stuff going on over there. I mean, let's not get too psychological about this, but one of the important things which happens during dreams is that's when you actually set down the memories for the day before. So, it's good to sort of let that dreaming go.
Do dogs dream about...
do you have these little doggies hooked up to EEG electrodes while you're watching their dreams? Is this how actually you're studying this?
Well, there's a lot of ways in which we study it. As I said, one of the ways is to turn off the off center, so you actually let the dog, act out his dream. But we do, when you're actually just measuring dream episodes and that sort of thing, you use exactly the same techniques that you use on human beings. So you just, you paste little electrodes on the scalp and on either side of the eye and on some of the important muscle groups and that sort of thing.
Do you think dogs dream about love?
Well, I'll tell you. We can ask the question, do dogs love? I mean, that's an easier one.
Well, that's we just got that from Blair. She just tweeted us, and she says, does my dog love me?
Well, you can tell Blair that, in fact, the dog has all the apparatus associated with love. That is to say, we know that when individuals are expressing love and that sort of thing, we get a surge in a biochemical called oxytocin, and dogs get that too. And dogs get that around individuals that they really care about.
Yeah.
And certainly, it depends on the kind of love which you're talking about, and if you're talking about sort of companionate love, where the dog, really feels comfortable and safe and warm and that sort of thing around you, the answer is yes. And we get all the physical and biochemical evidence of that. And beyond that sort of physical and biochemical, I mean, if we had about 40 hours, I could sit over here and start to tell you stories for an hour of things which seem to be evidence of dogs loving people.
Judy, can you please call him back? This connection's really bad. We're going to call you right back, okay?
Okay.
We are with Stanley Coren. The book is called Do Dogs Dream? So many questions, so little time. All of us in the studio right now with our arms up like we need to go to the bathroom have questions for Stanley Coren. We'll ask him as we get back here and reconnected. If you have questions, 1-866-405-8405. That is toll free from anywhere in this great nation. You can also send us your questions. Email them to yourvoice@animalradio.com. You can also Facebook us at Animal Radio. I encourage you to check out that anyway and like us for so many reasons. Or you can tweet us at Animal Radio. And don't forget, you can even ask your questions over the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. If you got a smartphone, you got to get the Animal Radio app. And as soon as we come back, we'll find out a little more about what's in our dogs' heads right here on Animal Radio. Stick around, you lucky dog.
You're listening to Animal Radio.
That's we got one of those Sports Illustrated phones for getting a subscription.
Mm-hmm. You still have to wind it up?
Still have to wind it up. So you're talking about consciousness. Does that mean that when our dog looks at herself in the mirror, she knows who she's looking at?
Nope.
No, okay.
Nope. People always ask about that. You got to understand that for human beings, mirrors are very important because we're visual animals, and vision is sort of the most important sense for us, and that's the way it is for most primates. So if in fact you put a mirror in a cage with a chimpanzee or an orangutan or something like that, they'll learn very quickly that that's themselves, and they'll make faces at themselves and that sort of thing in the mirror. And you know that they recognize it's themselves because what you can do is you can put them to sleep, and then while they're asleep, you put a mark, let's say, on their cheek and another one on their forehead, let's say in lipstick or something like that. Anyway, when the monkey awakens again and then, looks into the mirror, well, they'll immediately start to explore that region on their own faces where the mark is. So they're recognizing that that's themselves. But the case of dogs, well, for dogs, the major sense is smell. It's not vision. And one of the things which you can say about mirrors is they don't have any smell. So, a new puppy or something like that, first time they're seeing something in a mirror might in fact treat that as though it's another dog. But they'll instantly lose interest because it doesn't smell like a dog. Now, can dogs recognize themselves sort of in the doggy equivalent of a mirror? Well, the answer is yes. And there's a marvelous, I think it's a heroic experiment, which was run by a wonderful guy by the name of Mark Bekoff, who is an evolutionary biologist in Colorado. Anyway, Mark recognized that dogs' major sense is smell. So what he did was he would take his dog out for a sort of nice Colorado winter, and he would run ahead of the dog and gather yellow snow. Now, some of that yellow snow was from his own dog, and some of it was from other dogs. And then he'd monitor, what happened he'd run up further along and deposit this yellow snow. That's why I said this is pretty heroic. And he would monitor what his dog did when he hit those patches of yellow snow. And when it was his own yellow snow, he paid almost no attention to it. But when it's other dogs, he paid a lot of attention to it. So clearly he recognized what was his and what was other dogs.
What about TV? There's all kinds of videos out there, people pitching these videos that, you can go away and during the day you put on this video for your dog and they won't have separation anxiety. They'll be watching other dogs sniffing. It's at their level video of where they might see at their eye level. Can they even see TV?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I'm guilty of putting out a set of those videos which you're talking about. But the point of the matter is that the old-fashioned TVs, the ones where there was nice raster running across so you had lines.
I still have one.
The problem with those has to do with the way that the dog's eye is set up. Dogs are much more sensitive to sort of motion than we are. And what you're really getting in that case is you're painting the lines on, one line at a time, so there really is motion involved there. For us, the lines are being painted so quickly that we don't see the motion, we just see the picture. But for a dog, it flickers, so it doesn't look very real. However, nowadays we're getting all this wonderful high-definition, TV and all that sort of stuff. And so we're getting more and more reports of dogs watching TV.
It's Animal Radio, and if you just joined us, we're with Stanley Coren. The book is called Do Dogs Dream, and we're talking about TV right now. Do dogs see TV? And do they recognize other dogs on TV?
There are a couple of things which you have to understand. First of all, it has to be a real dog or a real animal that they're watching. They don't pay any attention to cartoon dogs or that kind of thing. And the reason
good to know.
They're missing out.
Well, it's because those cartoon things don't move like real dogs. And, as I said, they're very sensitive to motion, so they pick up that difference really quickly. And the second thing is, of course, obviously, same problem that we have with the mirror, is it doesn't have any smell, but still, dogs will watch out of a window and they won't pick up any smell. So they'll watch for a while at that kind of thing. The other thing is that the best images to catch the dog really have to be at the dog's eye level. So if you're going to film that DVD or that film for a dog, then you have to strap the camera right onto Lassie's head so that you get it at her head level. And then the third thing is that most of us watch TVs which are high up, and dogs don't look high up; they look straight ahead. So all of those things are things which go against your dog watching TV. But if you place the TV down low at the dog's level, and it's a high def TV, and it's got pictures of farm animals or other dogs or that sort of thing, a lot of dogs will pay attention to it. I had a wonderful instance when I had a little Cairn Terrier, and he really was sort of the ultimate ratter and that sort of thing. Anyway, I was watching TV, and he was up on the sofa with me, so the TV was at its level. And there was some sort of adventure film on at that point. I don't know what the thing was, but there was this one episode where the heroes and heroine, go down this tunnel or this sewer or whatever else, and then you see some pictures of rats, and then all of a sudden they stir up all these rats, and these rats go running by and all that sort of thing, squeaking and squealing. Well, the moment the rats began to appear, he looked up over there because terriers are ratters. That's what they do. This is my business, right? And when the rats started running forward over all the squeaking and squealing, he leapt off of the sofa and started to savage this wooden TV stand. He had this thing on. And then, of course, these things only last a minute or whatever else, the way the TV goes. And then it stopped, and he sort of looked up, and he went, okay, I've done my job over there. And then, of course, I had to hide the damage mark and refinish it before my wife kills the dog.
Sure. Well, you also see the dogs go behind the TV, like where did they go?
That's right, because they have no concept of editing. If it moved, it sort of moved, had to move someplace.
Listen, I'm having a lot of fun here. I have a couple of questions. We got a couple of more questions that just came in via email about hearing and sight. The book is called Do Dogs Dream? It is the best book that's come across my desk in the last year. I'm serious about this. The author, Stanley Coren. Judy's fielding calls right now. She just got a call. I don't see the name of this person who just called, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. They think that their dog has ESP. They have great hearing. They know when they're coming home because they can hear the car miles away, and that they have great vision. Can you comment on that?
Well, I don't know whether they've got ESP. I mean, dogs do in fact respond very often by hearing cars coming, much further away than we will tend to. My wife used to have a very old Ford, and whenever she would come home, the dog would immediately run and give this mommy bark or something like that. Anyway, the moment she got a new car, that behavior all disappeared. So, there is that. And there is some, I will tell you, there is some evidence which suggests that dogs actually can anticipate earthquakes, because for certain types of earthquakes where the earthquake is not too deep underground, the scraping sounds and breaking rocks and that sort of thing, and those high frequency sounds dogs do pick up, and some of them get very, very nervous. And in some places like China, they actually use changes in responses of dogs as part of their earthquake warning system.
Huh. Wow. That's cool. So their vision, what about their vision? Is it better than ours?
Oh, no, their vision's crappy. I mean,
okay.
If they drove cars, they'd have to have glasses. The legal definition of impaired vision that is impaired enough to require glasses is 20/40 for human beings. And dogs really have 20/65. Oh. And they're really very badly farsighted. Seeing things close is really difficult.
Well, no, I have this red toy which I throw on the lawn, and Ladybug will pass right by it. What's the deal there?
Oh, that has to do with color vision. That has to do with the fact that, you've really hit a really interesting thing. Dogs see the world in shades of yellow and blue. And it turns out that what we see as red, they see as sort of a brown, just sort of a very, very dark yellow. Sort of think of it that way. And what we see as green, they see as yellow. So, in fact, for us, the most popular colors currently for dog toys are red and this sort of safety orange, that sort of thing that you see in traffic cones.
For the human, huh?
That's right. But it's the human who's buying this stuff, right? So when Lassie goes roaring past that toy, it's not because she's stupid or being obstinate or something like that. It's just that it doesn't differ from the color of the grass except in terms of its darkness. So if you threw that same toy, let's say on your driveway, which is either white or black or something like that, the dog would see it fine and probably chase it.
All of this is very intriguing to me, I'll tell you right now. So many questions, so little time. If you find this intriguing, I encourage you to pick up the book, Do Dogs Dream. Do Dogs Dream, the author Stanley Coren joining us once again. One of my favorite books. I have 10 copies to give away right now at 1-866-405-8405. If you're not lucky enough to get through, head on over to Amazon, over to, what stores are open still? Borders is gone, Barnes & Noble, wherever, your local bookstore, ask them to pick it up. Do Dogs Dream, nearly everything your dog wants you to know. Stanley, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, jam-packed today. Out of time once again. I want to thank everybody who was on the show, DEVO and Gerald Casali, as well as the guys from Wired Magazine, the guys and gals from Wired Magazine. Also Stanley Coren.
What a really big shoe.
Be sure to check out our website at animalradio.com. or our Facebook page at Animal Radio, or grab the Animal Radio app for iPhone or Android. Contact us during the week, your voice at animalradio.com, and check out Dr. Debbie's new Kindle book.
It's called Yorkshire Terriers, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend, and it's all about tips from me, the veterinarian, on how you can be a better pet owner, to recognize health problems, and to be more proactive.
Have yourself a great week and a safe Labor Day weekend. We'll see you next week right here for more Animal Radio.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Animal Radio Network.